So as part of the job search ordeal that I just went through, negotiating salary, I felt like was a very important part of taking the job. I know what I think I'm worth, and I know you think you know what I'm worth, and we have to find a meeting ground somewhere. I feel like that was harder than going through the interviews, was talking about money. It's a sensitive subject for a lot of people. I think a lot of times people don't want to find out that they got undervalued, that they settled for something less than what they deserved. Maybe their peer that sits right next to them that does the exact same job, they argued a little bit and they got a couple more thousand a year for it. So I definitely negotiated with every one of my job offers. I was successful and some I wasn't. The current job I'm in now, I was not successful in raising my salary, my sign-on bonus, stock options, anything like that. They stayed firm. And honestly, it was the job I wanted, so I wasn't that big of a deal. But money, I don't know, just money is one of those things that people are scared to talk about. And I do think it's because they're afraid they're going to find out that they undervalued themselves.
I guess I haven't really had a lot of experience negotiating salaries with my employer or whatnot. When I went to become a teacher, there is differences. Like, for instance, BBSD teachers make significantly more than other teachers in the districts around. And so since I was already coaching here, that was kind of a big one for me because I was already, going down. When you're thinking about it, like I'm a chemist, I'm making a pretty decent amount of money, and you're going in to be a teacher where things are going to change a little bit.
I've been in a situation when I worked at a specific place, I was transferring jobs to another place, and I overheard the male manager say to another male employee that he's actually going to get paid more than I was currently, even though I had more of the experience and I trained him. So yeah, that made me feel very just like deprived of what I'm coming in every day and working so hard for, and then somebody who I trained can actually get higher than me. I did confront my boss about it, and he just said that that person came from a more experienced place. So after that, I couldn't really do much. I transferred jobs. I think it's uncomfortable for people to ask for a raise.
Let's talk about money. The funny thing about money in careers is it's never really polite to ask about it, but it's quite important. So as we talked about in the career triangle, it's important to understand the trade-offs often between money, job satisfaction, and lifestyle. But different career choices will put money as the first objective or as a supporting objective. I'm going to give you a piece of advice that is so obvious that it's easy to overlook. The single best way to make a lot of money is to go into a field that pays well. I know it's crazy. It's so obvious, but it's true. If you're successful or even moderately successful in high-paying fields of finance, law, general business, engineering, technology, energy, oil, it is very common to be somewhere between quite and very lucrative in your compensation. If you decide that you want to pursue a high-paying field, and let's say you're fortunate enough to get a very well-paying job, that doesn't mean that there aren't risks. There are different risks that go along with getting highly paid. Number one is you might not be as happy in the actual work as you might think you are. And I've seen many people who are financially very successful who are actually not very happy in their lives or happy in their jobs. There's another risk of a high-paying job, and that is you're very costly to an employer. So if you're being paid a lot in a job and you're not continuing to add value, then you're at risk. And if you build a lifestyle that's based on making a lot of money and then you're out of work, it's a very tough fall. Look, there's one other risk of a highly paid job. Highly paid jobs are often associated with highly specialized fields. You just need to be thoughtful about where the trends are going because you want to be thinking ahead on how you can apply whatever skills you've developed, even if they're specialized, to find new applications of that down the road. If you go into fields that don't pay well, short story writing, some creative fields, not-for-profit work, teaching, noble things that you can have a real important passion about, just recognize that's very hard to make a lot of money. So be clear with yourself about what's important and how you want to pursue that. However money fits into your career triangle, there's one thing that is absolutely essential and very powerful, and that is developing the habit of thrift and savings. If you make a lot of money and you're at risk of developing a lifestyle, then savings is the buffer. If you're working in a different field that doesn't pay well in current compensation, if you invest some and save each month, then that can grow over time with the power of compound interest. So the bottom line conclusion about money is that you have to understand how important it is to you at each point in your career. If it's number one, then go into a job that pays well, but still recognize that there are risks. If it's not your most important thing, it's still important. Either way, it's important to know how you feel about it and then how to pursue your goal.